Well, good evening, Ravens flock. And we have a special guest who's not a member per se of the flock, but you guys know him, I'm sure, because he is out here all the time repping his team, who is our division rival. We have with us tonight none other than Quincy Carrier. I'm so excited to have you. Welcome to the show. How are you, Quincy?
Appreciate it.
I'm doing great. It's early season, so everybody's still excited about what's ahead. Nobody's really getting too deep into the doom bag. And I'm excited. I think both these teams got a lot to prove against each other this Sunday, and I think it's gonna be a good game.
Ooh, tell me about it. Hendo, how are you tonight?
Me, I'm extremely excited because we have Quincy here. Now, when we discussed bringing on a Browns YouTuber, there was only one name that I mentioned, and that's because I've been following Quincy for a minute. I was there with Worst Takes when you went back home and you were back in the room going over everything. I've been a fan for a long time, so I really do appreciate you coming here and hanging out with us. And of course, AFC North talk. Everybody knows him from that. And the one thing that I like about Quincy is he is not a homer. He will tell you the truth regardless if it's about his team, it's another team. He's not one of those, everything's great over here, but that team sucks. He will tell it as it is. So with that being said, if there are any Cleveland Browns fans in here, and this goes out to our guests as well, right now, just for the first 5 weeks of the season, we are extending bandwagon tickets because we are the original Cleveland Browns. We are extending it for you to come follow this team. You can like us.
This week
You can
of
like
all weeks, you gonna pull this one.
Listen,
you
I
know
didn't
we
know
hate
this was.
that one. You know we hate that one.
I'm saying, so it's not cheating. If you Browns fans want to follow us, it's not cheating because we are the original Browns. And I'm joking, but the only reason I
I'm
say
just gonna
that
ask this question, head though: is Jim Brown's number retired in Baltimore?
no. I mean,
All
Johnny
right, well, we
United's
gonna
The
move
number is
original
not.
on.
Browns.
Johnny United's number isn't retired in Baltimore. And I'm just joking. And I know you did a video on it, but I only brought that
Yeah.
up because this is the Ravens' 30th season, and they decided to celebrate that during this week. Now, a lot of people in the Browns community just feel like this just isn't right, and Ravens defenders are just going to say we're only doing it because it's our home opener. How do you feel about it?
It's one of those things where it's like, I think, Browns fans are right to feel like this little bit like strange that like this is lining up like this on
Right.
it. And like I don't understand why Baltimore fans ain't just accepted that it's like, hey man, this is what we doing. Of course it's to make you mad. You a rival. Like it's one of those things. It's like when Texas pick on Texas A&M or something like that. It's like, of course, this was a move that they requested to the league. Like, can we get this as a home opener this year? The league granted that request. And this was the way they wanted to celebrate it. It's a rivalry. These are the things rivals do to each other.
Right.
I think it's fair for Browns fans to feel disrespected this week. Like, it's a very disrespectful week, right? You guys are 12.5-point overdogs. Like, when we're healthy, like I understand it when it's DTR, the Zat man about to play against you. Like, okay, we all know what's about to go down. But this week it's healthy. You also got Joe Flacco, first time back in the bank. So that's another thing. I don't know. This is a deep cut, but do you remember way back after Joe Flacco won the Super Bowl, Joe Banner, who had just became the president, I think at that time of the Browns, because Jimmy bought the team, he had this sweet idea to try to free up, I think it was Donnell Ellerbe, that he was going to offer Joe Flacco like this big contract to free him up from, like to make the Ravens give him a big deal so they could free up one of the linebackers. And it's just hilarious now that Joe Flacco's on the Browns on this day of all days. Look, this is going to be a weird game. It's got all the recipe for weird game. You guys are celebrating 30th season. You got the old Ravens logo in the end zone. I saw that on you guys' Twitter. Joe Flacco's back. This is going to be a peak strange game in Browns-Ravens history. Yeah. Hopefully it doesn't go the way the last one did, which was Monday Night Football, where Lamar didn't get diarrhea, right? That's the official story, that he did not have diarrhea.
You didn't have to bring that one up,
even though I know he told somebody to move, and I know that move.
That's right.
Out the way. Hurry up.
Come on, man.
I mean, it's only fair. We stole the team. Y'all stole our quarterback. I mean, it's only fair.
Wow.
Yeah, then you got Lamar Jackson. You know, like you
We'll
lost
take
Joe
it. We'll
Flacco
take
and
it.
got a 2-time. Who, by the way, Lamar Jackson was supposed to be drafted by the Cleveland Browns if he fell into the second round that year. Hugh Jackson wanted to take him. Don't know what he would have done with Baker Mayfield and Lamar Jackson, but he wanted to do it.
Wow. Well, listen, you're right. You are so right, Quincy. This game here has all the makings for just being one of those weird games. But you know what? Listen, in the last 5 years, you guys have our number, right? In the last 5 years, the record is 6-5 in favor of the Browns. So hopefully on Sunday we can change that and even the score. I'm hoping so. But
He sounded really surprised. He's like, what?
oh,
The
really?
last 5 years, I
The
did
last,
not.
yeah, over the last 5 years from
Yeah, because
September.
the last 4 years we split.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Did we sweep one year? There's no way the Browns swept the Ravens, right? That didn't happen. Was it one of them years Lamar was injured?
It's possible.
it had to be. It had to have been.
It had to be. 'Cause I remember Lamar had like a 4 interception game one time. We lost that.
It's still, yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still,
So-
I mean, Tyler Huntley's capable of giving games away, so I can believe that.
No, wait a minute now. Stop. We're not talking about our backup QB. Listen, okay. If you have questions for Quincy, the
Yes.
Browns guru expert, please go ahead, drop your questions in the chat. This is not going to be a long stream, but we wanted to just kind of talk ball a little bit tonight. So Quincy, I'm going to start with you. As our guest of the half an hour, I'll say, as a Browns expert, what is the biggest strength of the Browns defense other than Myles Garrett? Okay, we know that he's been a thorn in our flesh for the last how many years, but other than Myles, what's the biggest strength that the Ravens really should be concerned about on your defense?
I think this is the best defensive line Myles Garrett's ever had in his life. I think this defensive line, like I remember we used to have the conversations about why TJ Watt's production used to be higher than Myles, and a lot of it was, he has Cam Hayward and those other guys on that line. I think this is the first time that he has a better defensive line than like TJ Watt. There are some guys here that I don't think the world knows, but these guys are real ballers, right? Malik Collins was really, really good last week from a pass rushing perspective. Isaiah McGuire, again, he's not a household name, but he's going to be somebody that the AFC North is going to know about. Was getting consistent pressure. Last year was in the top 3 of Pro Football Focus run stop grades from the edge position. I believe he was even better than TJ Watt at that. And in what we saw all camp and what we have seen that first week versus Cincinnati was just another continuation of it. He can rush the passer. He's really disciplined as a run stuffer as well. Mason Graham, the 5th overall pick, he was doing a lot of great things in the second half of that game as well. Mike Hall's not going to play in this week's game. He's somebody, our second-round pick from last year, very explosive pass rusher. But Shelby Harris, really good at getting into those passing lanes, a veteran in there. And Aiden Huntington is somebody I think we're going to make use of this week. A UDFA out of Tulane. He's one of those guys where he's too kind of big to be an edge rusher in the NFL, but just as athletic as some edge rushers. So he plays like this kind of hybrid 3-tech. He will also be a fullback on the other side for the Cleveland Browns and our best special teams tackler. So you're going to see it's big number 98 all over the field. And I think it's going to be interesting to see how they use him. I think they're going to use him instead of Joe Tryon-Shoyinka as that extra kind of heater they like to bring off the edge, because I think they want the extra size and athleticism against a guy like Derrick Henry. So this defensive line, I mean, like it's been able – I remember years where Myles would come off the field and you didn't even have to look for 95's number not to be out there. You could tell it was not the same defensive line. Now, there's times where I'm like, wow, Myles ain't on there. We've been getting pressure. This is the best defensive line. And I would argue Carson Schlesinger, I know we've lost JOK, and that's a huge part to our plans around Lamar, but the way that Schlesinger and Devin Bush specifically have played over the last Devin Bush over the last year in Cleveland has really added to that defensive line as well. So that front 7 for Cleveland, I know some people are thinking, it's Cincy week 1, next 7 net yards for that offense. It might be a fluke. I don't think there's anything flukish about that front 7 for Cleveland.
Hendo, I have a question now. He said a lot about his, his trenches in terms of like, this is going to be really something to watch that we might not have paid attention to in previous years. But with all of that he said, how do you think the Ravens can kind of like overcome this defensive line?
Quick passes. Finally master how to do a screen properly and run Derrick Henry. Just run right at him. Listen, we've had issues with the Cleveland Browns on defense when they weren't good. So now that, Myles Garrett has some help, we're in trouble. I saw what they did to Joe Burrow last week. Like, they brutalized that man. And I'm like, yeah, Daniel Falele, Andrew Voorhees are in trouble next week. Like, they are going to get abused. So if we can get the quick game going, run the ball and control the tempo, we could be okay. But I'm still worried about Myles Garrett. And I've always said best defender in the league. TJ Watt, he's cool, but Myles Garrett, hands down, will be doing crossovers.
I will add to this, Hendo. I think this is the best I've ever seen Myles Garrett look. When I was out there at camp, it was like, he's Myles Garrett usually, so you're used to him looking good. But then you just take a look at him in camp, you're like, he's quicker than he's ever been before. He's like leaner and still stronger than did you see what he did to Orlando Brown Jr.? We know that guy's strong, and he bench pressed him just multiple times. Just decided he wanted to get a sack there. This is I've thought this multiple times throughout the Myles Garrett experiment, where I'm like, oh, okay, we're starting to see the peak of his powers, Myles. No, this is peak of his powers, Myles Garrett, that we're seeing here, and he has help. What he did in that Cincy game, right, where he just completely took over an entire drive. He's still going to command a lot of attention, and I think the dangerous thing now with Mason Graham, since he had to keep their center in on Mason Graham all game, right, 4 hands on him, I think the same thing's going to happen, right? Linderbaum's probably going to have to slide over, help Mason, which means, usually the Ravens, they love to pull that guard over to try to handle Myles and give him the chip, right? I always say they don't play around. They might have to, let just the chip be it. And I got a question for y'all with likely being out of this game, and Mark Andrews not having a great start to the season last week. Like, what's that depth at tight end looking like? Because I wonder if they're going to be comfortable rolling out 2 tight ends out there just so they can have the opportunity to chip them. Because I know what they don't want to happen to see, like Mark Andrews on one side, Myles run to the other, and it's just like, hey, Roger Rosengarten, right, one-on-one Myles Garrett. And I like RouG, but ain't nobody good enough to handle that one-on-one.
No. Right.
Let me. So they played the hometown kid Patton last week. He was solid, but I don't think that you're going to
put Ricard too, right?
That was going to be my answer. But go ahead, Hendo.
Ricard is out as well, so I don't think that. I don't know what they're going to do, to be quite honest with you, because Rosengarten struggled a little bit last week. He had his issues, and nobody on the level of Myles Garrett. They're going to have to double him and take their chances elsewhere. We do have Charlie Kolar. Didn't see too much of him last week, but I think they're going to try to work him into the game plan because his blocking has gotten a lot better. It's just a tough task, especially without our fullback there to help with the deficiencies that we have on this offensive line, and Myles Garrett just being Myles Garrett. Like, my goodness, this man hit the quarterback on 3 straight plays. 3. Like it wasn't nothing. And like he said, this is probably the best iteration of Myles Garrett that we've seen. And he has a chip on his shoulder. A lot of people ask, why did he re-sign with the Cleveland Browns knowing they didn't have a quarterback? He, to me, I believe, wants to make them a winner, and he's doing it with his play on the field.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think also they were able to sell him on some kind of a plan for the future, right? Like they're going to be doing something. And then, he was really excited about Mason Graham, right? Like he was apparently – the word on the street is, right, it's not a report. I don't want to end up on a ticker. But Myles was the one who, was like, hey, if you get that guy, and we love that guy. Happened to coincide with what the front office thought, too, of Mason Graham. But, that's the second Pro Bowl edge rusher that looked at Mason Graham, because I think Max Crosby said the same exact thing about him. And he showed it throughout camp, what he looks like. Carson Schlesinger, I heard somebody who's played with Fred Warner be like, this is only stuff that we've seen Fred Warner be able to do his rookie year.
I never thought I'd say this, Quincy, but I have to say it. Pat Ricard being out is a concern, especially against Myles Garrett. Like, I didn't think I was going to say it, but our offensive line has struggled. And we use that fullback. We use him, for extra blocking. And now that he's out, the O-line it's standalone. And with like you mentioned, an upgrade, if you please, at your D-line, where you already had your anchor. Now you've got extra. So, listen, it's going to be a long afternoon for, this offensive line. And I think Hendo alluded to it. The answer for us, quick passes. Short passes, quick, get the ball out very quick, because this O-line, I don't think that they can withstand from what you're describing.
Yeah, I'm interested to see too. Like, I think Zay Flowers is going to be really important for Baltimore in this game, because if you want to hit stuff quick, right? Like, Denzel Ward's probably not who you want to target, especially like if you're trying to do like a DeAndre Hopkins quick slant or something like that. Like, that's the wrong thing that you want to do. And I think Lamar is experienced enough with Denzel to know that that's not how you want to attack him. Where I think the Ravens are going to try to get him is they're going to put like Zay Flowers in drags across the field and try to match him up on Greg Newsome. Greg's not good moving left to right to left. Horizontally, it's been a problem for him his whole career. And Zay Flowers is extremely good at doing that, right? So I wonder how the Browns try to switch up their corners to match up with that. I think the Browns are going to go into this one, and this is going to be the chess battle of football, which you love, right? What Baltimore is going to want, Zay Flowers on Greg Newsome, because that's the most favorable matchup for them. What the Browns want is that Greg's going to stick on DeAndre Hopkins, and then they can have Denzel handle Zay Flowers. So that's going to be the battle between Todd Monken and Jim Schwartz. You're going to see a lot of motion, a lot of stacks, right? A lot of a bunch to try to force that matchup. And, whoever gets to win that battle, I think is going to have a tremendous advantage in this game, because if you can't get Greg Newsome consistently on Zay, that's a first down machine for Baltimore, and that's going to take the teeth out the pass rush for Cleveland, where I think will come into this game trying to blitz Lamar at least on 40% of the snaps. And they're going to try to get downhill, because even if you blitz, right, and you run with Derrick Henry, the idea with Derrick is you got to get him behind the line of scrimmage. So you might as well try to get downhill, right? So I think that's going to be the mindset for the Browns, is just get downhill at all costs. I wonder if Todd tries to throw in some play action, get some hitters, try to get a big deep cross with somebody matched up on Greg Newsome, because I think those are where the chunk plays are going to come from Baltimore.
Who's your third corner?
Hold on.
I think it's
I
Cam
got a
Mitchell
chart right here. Hold on.
or Myles Hardy.
Yeah, because they're gonna have to guard Bateman.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be a combination of safeties that are going to be on whoever that guy is, right? It's either going to be Grant Delpit, or it's going to be Rodney Hickman, or they're going to slide Rashad Jenkins over there, right? Like they're gonna utilize others, because that corner room's just not that deep. Cam Mitchell had a terrible camp. I don't see him playing well. And then Myles Harden had some good moments in last week's game, so maybe they feel comfortable with him. But yeah, any situation like last week where the Browns had to guard three, it was a lot of safety play intermixed there with the corner. So if you look at the snap count, I'm pretty sure it'd be like a bunch of safeties before you get to Myles Harden, who I think was number 3 on the corner depth chart.
We do have a question for you, Quincy, and we'll talk a little bit more about your, your secondary. But before we move on to that, I just want to say, listen, if you're here and you're enjoying listening to Quincy give his expert opinion on these Browns going up against our Ravens, do us a favor, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. But the question comes from Alexander. Thanks for asking. Doesn't Denzel Ward have an Achilles irritation?
I don't know. Denzel Ward always got something on the injury.
Yeah,
like it's like the thing too. Like each team uses the injury report differently. We all know Pittsburgh is notorious for lying about it, right? Like they'll have somebody magically pop out as out without being on the injury report. The Browns kind of take an opposite strategy, where they'll list everything they can list on it. You'll see sometimes the Browns will have somebody on the injury report with like 5 different things, 3 full practices. And it's like, what's going on there, right? The Browns strategy is like, we're just going to throw a bunch of names on this injury report so you don't really know what's real or what's not, right? So that's kind of like, when it comes to Browns injury reports, you just got to, the status at the end, if he doesn't have a status, it's not that deep for them, right? Because there are times where I've known that, like Denzel Ward, I think he had like a foot injury in 2021, and it was never on the injury report, right? So if it's really something they trying to hide, but he's going to play through it, it's not going to pop up on the report.
Right.
Baker's labrum never popped up on that report. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. Quincy, so talking more about your secondary, which matchup are you most looking forward to, or do you think that is going to be the most exciting to watch on Sunday?
On the Browns secondary versus your offense?
Yes.
Okay, because I got one for each one. So Browns secondary on the Ravens, I think it's going to be, I want to see what that Zay Flowers Denzel Ward matchup looks like, and if they stick to it, right? Because Zay does move around quite a bit for Baltimore and does a lot of things. Another thing to think about is, like, how are they going to handle the scramble drill? With Lamar Jackson, it's going to happen. He's going to break the pocket. You're going to get some big plays created out there. What's that awareness going to look like, right? If we're talking about other defensive matchups that I'm excited about, I really want to see what Carson Swester looks like versus this Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry backfield, right? We know what the Browns defense can look like when they get that great linebacker play. The one time they had it in 2023 versus Derrick Henry. Now, it's a different beast. Derrick Henry, his last year with the Titans, and stopping Lamar Jackson and him in the same backfield. But I believe they almost held Derrick Henry to negative yards in that game. One of the few times that's ever happened in his career. That's why they've been confident, right, about their ability to stop him, because they feel like they're back to 2023. Last time we played Derrick Henry and we was at this level, we blanked him. You know, it was nothing. It was nothing. It was not a problem to get Derrick Henry down. Now, it's going to be different this week. You know, this is a different beast. This is a different offensive line. It's not Andre Dillard trying to block Myles Garrett, right? Like, it's a lot different. But, you know, they feel confident about their ability to achieve some success there. If we flip it, Browns offense versus the Ravens defense. This one, I think, has surprised some Raven people when I've talked about it, because it's not the guy who I think has gotten the ire of Baltimore fans, which is Jair Alexander. Like, I think a lot of people have been talking about him. I think that ugly JV jersey he was wearing on Sunday did him no favors. Well, I don't know what's up with him and Hump, because Hump was out there wearing that JV jersey last year too. Is he still wearing that? Like, I don't know what they doing out there, him, Garrett Wilson. I don't know what they think is that's not. I don't like it.
That's for them new kids. They like that.
Yeah.
I don't know what these kids on. They be wearing bonnets on the sideline now. Like, I don't know, dog. Like, you know, it ain't for me. But yeah, I think the matchup that the Browns are going to try to go after, they're going to try to go after, I think, Wiggins here, Nate Wiggins. One, because he's smaller and they feel like they have a more explosive player in Fanner than him. Now, when I say that, people go, what are you talking about? Hey, Nate Wiggins runs 4.28, and that is true. But his 10 split was one of the worst 10 splits you've seen somebody at that size run. It's not very explosive to get to that speed. You've noticed this probably by watching Nate. If you get Nate to stop and then start, it take a little while for him to start. Once he goes, he's gone. Yeah. But it take a little while for him to get going. And I think the Browns are going to try to utilize Isaiah Bond to try to get him to stop, maybe when he's in zone coverage, to try to blow by him, because Isaiah Bond, 80th percentile 10 split. And then Harold Fanner, who had a better 10 split than him, I think they're going to try to really utilize that matchup, get him on the boundary. You're going to see 44 and a bunch of stacks on the outside, because they're going to say to themselves, he's more explosive. We can get in and out breaking stuff out on him if he goes into zone, because he's not going to be able to break fast enough. And then he's going to be difficult for him to tackle, because Harold Fanner is 250. And then Nate Wiggins is, I know he's listed at 170 or something like that, but he's got to be 180 now, right? Like,
that's what they say. Yeah. He's about 165.
Maybe.
So it's going to be a tough tackling assignment for him. You know, I got all my jokes about Roquan Smith. You know, I've gotten them off before, but they're not going to really get big chunk plays out of that, because the one thing Roquan Smith can do is rally and tackle to the ball 8 yards downfield. But, you know, they're going to hit David Njoku on that curl. They're going to get that stick there, everything else, you know, try to attack Roquan a little bit if they need a third and short or something like that. But you're not going to go to that consistently, because you're not going to get a chunk play. He's too consistent of a tackler. He's too good at his pursuit angles. But what you can get is maybe a chunk play out of that matchup. So, you know, Nate Wiggins there. I'm wondering what they're going to do with Jerry Jeudy, because I don't think any of these corners are really a great matchup for Jerry unless they sit in a lot of zone. They did last week against Josh Allen, but they playing Joe Flacco this week. I have to imagine it's going to be a different strategy. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they match up there, but I think that Nate Wiggins matchup and some of the Browns' more explosive pass catches is going to be where, if I'm Kevin or if I'm Tommy Reese, I see an opportunity for a couple of big chunk plays here. And they're going to try to hit that flea flicker on your boy, right? Like, they're going to try to get that flea flicker off, let Joe Flacco throw one deep early, see if he feeling it at the bank again. So, we might call one of them old Jacoby Jones plays.
Maybe.
I'm going to ask you, Hendo, and then we do have a question for you, Quincy, in a second. But Hendo, how do you think Joe Flacco is going to be? How is he going to respond? First time back at the bank as a Cleveland Brown, coming back home. I mean, once a Raven, always a Raven. That's what we always say. Hendo?
It's kind of hard to say because with Joe Flacco can come in here and throw for 395 yards and 4 touchdowns. Or he could throw for 187, a touchdown and 4 picks. You just don't know what you're getting from him. To me, it depends on how he utilizes his tight ends. Now, what was the rookie, 44? He was killing them last week.
Famous.
I was looking for Njoku, but he was killing them with the rookie. So if he can get the tight ends going, because even when he was with Baltimore, the tight ends was Joe Flacco's favorite friend. Against this defense, what I saw last week, I'm not too confident in our defense stopping him if he gets on a roll. So I'm going to go middle of the pack. I think Joe throws about 250, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks.
All right, Quincy. And then we do have a question for you. How do you think Joe Flacco is going to do coming to the bank?
Joe's a real cool customer, right? So I don't see him getting too charged up for this one. I'm more worried about, I think the team going to be real charged up for Joe. I think that's part of the reason they've been hyped because they love Joe out there in Cleveland. And he seems to be a really likable guy in that locker room. So I'm wondering, how they come out, what kind of energy they come out with, the play calling. They might be really aggressive offensively to start. I think the ideal day for Joe is that the run game gets going and he doesn't have to do too much. So you're talking about 250, 2 touchdowns, right? I think it's not a great sign if he has to go out there and throw for 4 bills, right? Because then something's not happening in the run game, or you're in a shootout with Lamar Jackson, which is not the goal this week, right? You want to play that ball control. You want to keep the ball out of Lamar's hand. You want 2 14-play drives of going to 6-7 minutes. You really want to frustrate the Ravens. And the Browns know one of the ways you can frustrate Lamar is you can just keep the ball away from him, because he can sit on that sideline, he be getting mad, right? He get mad more than anybody on that sideline. You keep him sitting there for 7 minutes, he start getting mad, then he start pressing. That's how you can kind of go at them. So I imagine that's going to be the goal. So I don't think they're going to get too much going in the air. Maybe Quinshon Judkins plays this week. That helps the run game out. They could be viable there. But yeah, I think Joe's going to play it cool this week. I think he's been very keen on that, right? He understands this is a rare opportunity to start. He has a great connection with Kevin Stefanski. I think Joe sees this as I'm trying to finish this season and have a good enough season where I could just feel good and retire at the end of it, right? And Joe's really been locked in and focused since training camp. You could tell that that's kind of the energy he's been on. So I don't think he's going to get greedy here. I think he's going to play, more classic Joe Flacco football, right? More of that, less Denver Joe Flacco where we got the pick 6 reputation, and more Joe Flacco not going to take sacks, Baltimore 09. I remember that stuff was annoying with him. But no, was it it was 2010 he was really into that.
10 or 11,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, it was his number 1 stat was he avoids the most sacks in football.
Yeah. Question for you, and I do know that time is winding down for Quincy, so I'm going to ask this question, and then we have one other one for you, Quincy. But Osmond wants to know: do you think your D-line and linebackers will be enough to support to help protect your DBs?
I think the Browns' game plan this week is the less Lamar holds the ball, the better, right? They want to limit the amount of time that Lamar can do something with the football, whether that be keeping him off the field or when he's there, forcing him to make a quick decision, right? Now, the Ravens might say to themselves, we got to get rid of this ball quickly, right? And that might play into what the Browns want to do. That might not play into what the Browns want to do. What they don't want is Lamar back there being able to attack deep about 20% of the time like he did against Buffalo, right? They want to limit the damage. I think if they had to pick one, they would rather deal with Derrick Henry all day. Not disrespect to Derrick Henry, just Lamar, two-time MVP. He's a much bigger problem. So they want to limit the amount of time that Lamar has to do damage on them because they feel like they can handle if this becomes a Derrick Henry game, right? That's not going to be the fastest pace. So that's really where I think the Browns want to focus in on for this week is just let's get pressure on Lamar. If he does the thing where he jukes three of us and gets downfield, it is what it is. But we're going to still keep attacking, right? We feel like, I think another thing with the Browns that they're going to utilize is this team has like 8 guys that they feel comfortable with rushing the passer, sometimes 9. They're going to be fresher than any offensive line they play against in the fourth quarter. You saw that against Cincinnati where, the first half it wasn't looking amazing, but then you get into that fourth quarter, 6 minutes left, they hit the gas, and all of a sudden you're like, wow, Myles still has all this energy because he hasn't been playing all game. That's what that depth is going to afford them. So if you're the Browns and you're like, okay, we can string this out, keep this game slow pace, get into the fourth quarter, we know we're going to get extra possessions in the third and fourth quarter where, Rodgers going to be a little tired, right? Now a stunt's going to work a little different on him. Or Voorhees is going to be exhausted because he's been double teaming and dealing with Mason in the A-gap all day. And then all of a sudden you look up and you Linderbaum and you see 95 doing dribble moves, okay? Like, this is the kind of stuff they could pull off because they have that depth. So for the Browns, this is going to be a plastic bag game, right, where they're going to want to just slow the pace down and choke the game out as slow as possible so they can get to that fourth quarter where their home run stick is that defensive line depth where they can all of a sudden say, all right, you've been struggling dealing with these guys rotating. Now it's just Myles every play for the whole fourth quarter. Can you deal with? By the way, he's fresh, right? Can you deal with that, right? That's going to be, I think, the way that the Browns want to win this. Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson, those are dudes who can destroy that game plan, right? But Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward, also dudes on the other side who can enforce a game plan against elite competition. We saw it last week. I think that's going to be very exciting to watch.
All right. Yeah. What do you think, Hendo? What are your thoughts?
Listen, I ain't saying nothing because I made a prediction last week. I stood up here with 5 minutes left. I was like, we got this game won. It is what it is. I'm walking off, and then we lost the game. If the game's close in the fourth quarter, like he said, we've seen through years past that if they keep this game close, they find ways to beat us. Even though we may have the superior roster, for some reason, Kevin Stefanski-led teams just have our number. So for me, it is what it is. I'm gonna wait till after the game is over to speak my piece. I got nothing to say this time. I'm coming to peace. I'm coming to peace. I learned my lesson last week. 5 minutes, I was like, yo, it's no way we can lose this game. 5 minutes and we got the ball. And
it's all right. One year after the Browns beat the Ravens, I had declared that, it was going to be true that Kyler Murray was going to be better than Lamar Jackson, and then he ended up not losing any games and then winning the MVP in 2019. So we all have our moments of overconfidence, right? Like it definitely happens. So, yeah, I would say this game, you're going to know a lot about this game in the first quarter, right? How both teams come out. The Browns can't survive if Baltimore goes up 14-17 in that first quarter, right? If they get off to a hot start, if they blitz and Lamar finds the answer quickly. Like, the best time to attack this Browns team is going to be at the beginning of that game for Baltimore. So if they can win early, that helps them. But if this is one of those games where Baltimore decides we're going to take 4 or 5 drives to figure out what we want to do on offense, then that's going to open the door to where I think Cleveland can upset them.
All right, Quincy, who wins this game? And what is your score prediction?
I think the Browns are going to win this one. Surprise, surprise. I'm going with the Browns here. But I think the Browns are going to win this one. Look, I think not enough people are talking about that defensive performance last week. That was more impressive than what they did against the Bengals in 2023. And in 2023, they had the help of the elements. The rain was helping them in that game. So I'm very high on what this defense was able to do. That secondary holding up as well as it did really made me feel a lot more comfortable. They seem to actually be able to run zone this year, which if you followed this defensive core since 2018, you know that they have struggled in zone forever. They seem to actually be able to run it competently now in year 3 of Jim Schwartz. If they're able to play that level of football and they're able to play that way from the jump, I do think they're going to be able to slow this game down. And I think that the offense is a little underrated for what the Browns did. A lot of people look at it, go, oh my God, the Browns only scored 16 points. They were terrible. They still can't score 30. But only 9 real drives in that game. The Browns scored on 3 of them. Really should have been able to score on 5 of them, right? The missed extra point and one of the most flukish interceptions I've ever seen in my life that happened 2 times in that game. But the other one that happened was like, all right, we weren't going to score on that drive. It was like 3rd and 10 or something like that. But okay, 2 of the most fluke interceptions you've ever seen. And you're that and a missed 36-yard field goal away from scoring on 5 of your possessions. Then all of a sudden you're over 50% score percentage in that game. And all of a sudden the offense looks good. So I think that offense was a lot better than people thought. I think they're going to be better at throwing the football than people think they're going to be this year. The big question for Cleveland is, can they run the ball at an efficient clip? In the preseason, they were doing pretty good with it. Last week, it wasn't very impressive. It looks like that first team needs some time to be able to get on sync, right? Because it's like guys pulling, guy to the linebacker too early, right? Not splitting. It's just stuff like that that's really slowing down the run game. And I think personnel was a big issue. We didn't have our hammer. If we had hammer back with Quinshon Judkins, I like what we saw out of Dylan Sampson, and then we know that Jerome Ford can get a big play here and there. Then all of a sudden, I think that room looks a lot better. So, yeah, I think the Browns are going to surprise some folks. I've been saying this all offseason. The Browns aren't going to be an easy dub. I know people are thinking, oh, it's going to be a 4 or 5 win team. No, this is going to be one of those teams you don't want to play before you have a game against Kansas City or, a big game ahead of you. Because if you don't come in ready to fight against this football team, they're going to hit you in the mouth and you might not get up from it because it's going to be a lot stiffer than you think. I think this team has issues, obviously, kicking, why we didn't win week 1. But, if we're talking about week to week playing them, they're going to be a very difficult team. So, yeah, I think they're going to be able to get enough here. And it's been interesting because, Baltimore's not been really returning the energy with the trash talk like they normally do. It's kind of like they're trying to downplay it or oh, man, we got bigger things to worry about. And I understand that to a point, but it kind of reminds me of when the Browns played the 49ers. We had P.J. Walker starting at quarterback that game. And, the 49ers were like, oh, it's the Browns. We got this one. We're going to handle it. We lost a big game last week. We're not about to lose 2 of them. Kind of just we're going to get right this weekend. And if this defense is playing at that level, ain't no get right, right? So, I think it's really going to matter what happens in the first quarter. And my gut feeling is that I don't think Baltimore is taking the threat as seriously as maybe they should right now.
Okay, Hendo, give your score prediction really quickly. Then I'm going to have a quick question for Quincy, and then we'll let him go.
Since it is the Browns, division opponent, I'll be respectful, and hopefully we don't have a repeat of the 49ers game because they did miss the kick at the end. They still had a chance to win it. But I have a lot more respect. I have a lot more respect for this Browns team than I do the Buffalo Bills. So I'm not going to go that far with it. I don't know what happened with Jerome Ford. They didn't run him a lot, but they do have a great run game. And the one guy that nobody is really talking about for me is somebody I've been looking for years to step up, and that's wide receiver Cedric Tillman. He, to me, could be the X factor in this game. People sleep on him. Coming in as a rookie, I thought he was going to do a lot better, but it's taking him a little bit of time. So with all that being said, and the defense that the Browns have, I'm still picking the Ravens, but it's not going to be a similar prediction like last week. We're not scoring 40 points this week. We may only score 31. So I'm predicting 31-13 Ravens. Of course, we're not talking a lot of smack because it's like me with my little brother. I don't need to talk smack to him because he's not going to beat me. I mean, he can say whatever he wants to me. And it's just like, yo, little brother, you don't win, but keep yapping until the day you get big enough to beat me. So until then, I'm going to let you do you, and we're going to keep it pushing. But there is a possibility, as we've seen, that the Ravens could possibly lose this game. We went 0-2 to start last year. The same thing can happen if we overlook the Browns. Now, if we do lose to the Browns, all heck is going to break loose because we are going to be in the cellar by ourselves. We will be the only winners team in the division, and we will be entrenched in last place. But you know that John Harbaugh does his best coaching when his back is against the wall. When they criticize him and his seat starts to get a little warm, that's when he does his best coaching, if that's what you want to call it. So, of course, the Ravens are going to win this 31-13.
Oh, yeah.
I like the Cedric Tillman take in there, man. Since week 7, since the Deshaun Watson Achilles injury, Cedric Tillman's been a 60-yard per game guy. It's about 1,000-yard pace. He's been really productive for him. Was productive even last week. I think the drop, people kind of focused on his drop more than the Jerry Jeudy one. But I think the drop is why people aren't really talking about him. But he can do a couple of things really well. And one of those things is he can run a corner route really well. I don't know if you got anybody who struggles with that. It seems like y'all ran a lot of zone there. But yeah, if you catch him, and man, he can break that tree off. He can break that branch off in that tree really well.
Yeah. Quickly, Quincy, can you please give a word about Oweh? How do you think? This is a question from
Y'all
gotta be Jay.
Like that
and
on
wait,
the Ravens
and before
too,
before you give your response, Quincy, just so you know, I'm an Oweh fan,
Lover.
truther.
I gotta ask this question, yo. Were you also a Tyus Bowser fan?
I was. I really like Tyus. I didn't say
same guy.
But can you
that
please
makes sense.
But can you please give a word? He would like you to give a joke, if you please. Jay the Six would like you to, have a little joke, kind sir, about Mr. One Odafe Oweh.
I don't know if I have any Odafe Oweh jokes in the chamber, to be honest with you, because I ain't really thought about Odafe Oweh in a very long time.
A long time.
Yeah.
Quincy,
it's like what y'all
I
is
just said I'm a
Ojabo
fan.
over there. Yeah, I'm just being honest. I got Roquan jokes because I always got to talk about Roquan because he play all the time. I'm like, yeah, man, what number is Odafe? Is he still 99?
He is 99. He has 99 problems, and Odafe Oweh is not one of them. That's right.
You got 99 problems, but a sack ain't one, right?
He was Quincy, put some respect on my guy. He is into the double-digit sack club last year. Now, okay, fast forward to this game, this season, and last game against the Bills. No, he was not there. Anyway, family, thank you so much.
He might do well this week, to be fair to him, because he's the exact kind of edge rusher that DeJuan Jones struggles with.
He's a little slow. He's not.
Wait,
because DeJuan big, and he don't move well, right? And that's the one thing Odafe does do is move pretty well, right? What do you run, like a 4.4 at the combine or something like that? I remember watching him. I remember watching him at the combine, being like, "That's one of them little fast guys that the Ravens fall in love with." Him. There was another one, Boye Mafe. I thought they was going to take him too. But yeah, they love taking that guy and then acting like they're going to put him in coverage and then rushing Kyle Van Noy for whatever reason. But
Kyle Van Noy.
It's kind of crazy. Y'all drafted so many people to be that number one edge, and it's still Kyle.
Yeah, that's not.
He's
terrible
this year too.
Yeah,
well, Jabo, Odafe, y'all got Mike Green now. Like, somebody got to take the throw.
Mike Green,
right?
Somebody's got to, we got to have a pass rush. If, like you said, Quincy, every team has strengths, weaknesses. Ours right now, if I had to say, is definitely O-line on the offense, but no, it's the pass rush. But anyway, Quincy, thank you.
Odafe's real solid as like your fifth edge. Like, if he's just like coming in rotating, I think he's gonna be really fifth. Yeah, like it's a rotation. It's 2 starters on the other side. Like, so you could bring in Odafe on like a NASCAR package, and I think he's real because he kind of athletic like a linebacker. You might be able to put him in a mug. Like put him in one of them.
No, Quincy, not anymore. Listen, fifth round pick Tavius Robinson has taken more snaps than him. So, yeah, he's not even that dude anymore. Even
did he get injured?
No, he got heavier. He bulked up. He's slower.
Okay.
They tried to make him stronger.
Thank you, Jay the Six, for that
question.
He
started eating lunch with Roquan Smith. That's what happened.
Look, you got Roquan Smith
They go to
jokes.
they over there
Look,
going to
They need to have Nate
Wawa.
Wiggins figure out what Roquan doing, dog. That's what they need to do, bro. Get him on that Roquan plan.
No.
anyway, family, thank you for showing so much love to our guest, Quincy. Thank
Yes.
you, Quincy, for being here. Please let
Appreciate you.
everyone know where they can find you and all the wonderful things that you're doing in social media.
Yeah, you can find me youtube.com/Quincy Carrier. You can use the @ feature @Quincy Carrier. I pop up there. You can find me on Twitter, KWEN_C. The Ravens lose, wait the 2 days to follow me. You're gonna want to wait the 2 days. I would hate for you to follow me and block me on the same day because this might be nasty time. But after that 2 days, it's gonna be all straight. But yeah, you follow me on Twitter, Instagram. I think I do TikTok now. Yeah, I do TikToks. So somewhere put my name in there on TikTok. I'll pop up. I've been posting some shorts there. I don't really be on TikTok. I don't know what the meta is on TikTok. I very much feel like an old man every time I'm on TikTok, but I'm on TikTok. I'm also on Instagram as well. But thank you for having me on.
Awesome.
Appreciate
Well, definitely. We appreciate you for coming. Thanks for spending some time and sharing your wealth of knowledge about the Browns. Unfortunately, I did not give my score prediction, but I don't believe the Browns are taking this one. I think this one goes.
Let me get your Oweh sack prediction. You saying what's the
Oh,
line at?
okay. Now you're talking my language. I'm going to give, okay, so I was a little bit wrong in the Bills because I gave a sack prediction. I said 1 sack for Odafe, 2 would be lovely, and I was way off.
Now,
Anyway,
how you gonna predict that he gonna get a sack on Josh Allen when he's not? Well, he tried to get bigger apparently, right?
He did. So that's what I. I was just about to.
But
that's the reason why I said because he bulked up. He got
Josh
bigger.
Allen got
Josh
that
Allen is
country
tough to take
Dakota
down.
strength.
I know.
He got
He's
that
tough to take down.
I farm
But-
bison in the field.
Hey, but he got tackled 1-on-1 by Nate Wiggins though.
He got sacked one. So
He didn't get sacked. He got tackled. He didn't say sack.
no,
He didn't
Nnamdi
get tackled.
Madubuike was the only sack last week. So
No, this was in a playoff game.
Oh, okay.
One-on-one, Nate Wiggins just took him down.
Would he shoot at his legs or something like that?
No, he grabbed him up top and threw him down. Surprisingly.
He must have saw a little dude back there, felt bad. Like, all right,
Let me get
Yeah,
out.
he-
That is
See, the
so
world class, you
disrespectful.
y'all causing trouble. Our
like when
guest
your
has
little
to go.
nephew, like your nephew trying to wrestle you, he like, all right,
Right.
you got me.
Yeah, I mean, kind of like the Ravens playing the Browns. Yeah, it's just like that.
All right.
Okay, he's gonna have against Joe Flacco. See, y'all,
Yeah.
y'all are being mean. I see. This is not supposed
I'm
to go
sorry,
there.
don't be mean.
Thank
First
you,
of all,
Jay the
first of
Six,
all,
for this.
What do you mean? People have been respectful all night.
They have been no.
Mm-hmm.
They've been absolutely respectful, but now this slander of Oweh, I just kind of I can't take it.
Oh,
But to answer Quincy,
I'm
I'm
just fascinated because I have never ran in to an Odafe Oweh super fan. Like I didn't know that they was. I didn't know that was happening. Like, what got you? Like, are you a Penn State fan? Like, what? How did you get? Like, what happened? Was it an article? He said something nice in the press conference. Like, what got you here to be a Odafe? I want to know how this happens because I know you didn't watch a game and was like, oh.
wait a
man,
minute, see Quincy, why you have to do that?
Like,
First of all,
Why you have to do that?
he's 100% correct. He had 0 sacks in the senior year, so you couldn't have watched him and be like, "That's the guy."
I'm not a Penn State fan. Hendo and I are Gator fans, so we like the
Wait a
Florida
minute.
Gators.
First of all,
Okay, I'm
don't
just
lie
teasing.
to yourself.
Hendo is a Florida State fan. I'm a Florida Gators fan, but no. So
They
it has
lost
nothing to
to South Florida.
do. We are going to be respectful of Quincy's time, but I'm going to give you the long and very skinny of why I really like Odafe Oweh. And I said it in a few streams before. I really like his story. A few years ago, off season ago, the Ravens did like a documentary about kind of how he grew up, where he came from, his history, his family, and it was just really, really moving. And I fell in love with his story and how he made it to the NFL, especially not having played football for many years prior to being drafted.
Can't you tell now?
All right, Quincy. Well, we appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Okay. Oh yeah, I just wanted to understand how it was like they did a documentary. He had a really gripping story. You connected to that story.
He did,
Okay.
and then he did not have a very good season. I think that was his going into his second season. I think the documentary came out as he was getting ready to start his second season, and it was kind of like, ooh, that was a flop, that was a fail.
It's
But then he
kind of
came.
like how the Blind Side don't be having Michael Orr go up and like he's like, oh yeah, here's reps against James Harrison. It's like, oh nope,
Right.
the dream's over.
Right.
But to answer your
those
question,
stories
Quincy,
always crack me up though.
But to answer your question, Quincy, how many sacks? My sack prediction for Oweh this game against Joe Flacco, I'm going to go with 1. I'm going to be reasonable. I'm going to keep it in the realm of reasonableness, right? 1 sack, Oweh. Don't let me down, Odafe, if you're watching this, okay? Don't embarrass me.
Come on, Jason, don't do it.
Anyway, but it's been
It might happen.
It might
happen. It might. Like I think this week might be a good week for it to happen.
I think
maybe
so
they might
too.
be waiting for a deep shot downfield.
I like
you might get it. You know, I don't know when that next sack going to happen, but it might happen this week. So I think, you know, because we never know what the future is, you know, but it could happen. It definitely could happen this week. Because what if he gets with 6 sacks this year? I mean, he got to get him somewhere, right? And I think this is a good opportunity.
Wait,
What you think gonna be like 9?
I had him pegged for like at least 11.
I got 4.
11.
He got 10 last year. Were you there, Quincy? Did you know he got 10 last year?
He got 5 the first 3 years combined. And what?
We're moving on up. We don't focus on old stuff.
So he going up from. Okay.
We going up from 10. We're going up from last year was 10. So we're going up. We moving on up. So if he was 10 last year.
It is a contract year.
And it's a contract year. He's incentivized. He's motivated. Listen, okay, you guys are sleeping on my guy. Don't disappoint me out here talking about you, you know, talking you up, Odafe. Don't come out here.
Well, Yolanda, I highly recommend that you take that faith that you have and bet the over on that. Because I can't believe, I would imagine the spreads on that one are very favorable. You might be able to get like, what, $2K from like $10? I'm not even joking. Like, I don't think Vegas think that's going to happen. But, you know, hey, look, it's early in the season. Possible. This is what we talked about. Anything is possible.
Anything is possible.
Odafe
early in the
Oweh,
season.
12 sack season. That's possible.
I said 11. I said
11. Okay,
I said 11. I said
my bad.
Last year was 10. I gave him 11. So with that, I stand on that. And there you go. So Quincy, again, thank you for being here. Wow, Tim P. Raven said 6. No, he's gonna have more than 6. But thank you, Quincy, for being here. It's been awesome. I'm not gonna say good luck to your team. I'm just gonna say we'll see you. We'll see you on the opposite side of victory. That means the Ravens are gonna take this one. But thank you for being here.
Y'all have a good one. Peace.
All right, take care.
Take it easy.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Whoa. Wow, we still here.
Ladies and gentlemen, Quincy Carrier, I'm so glad he joined us. It was, you know, a blast. He's so good at what he does. And so I saw someone say earlier.
Listen, he graduated with a bachelor's in TV and radio from Youngstown State. So he's studied this.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, I didn't know that, but he's really good at what he does. He's very, very good. Make sure you go over, subscribe to his channel, follow him, you know, make sure you do that. Make sure you do that. Support him. And Ravens are going to win this one. You know, like, you know, we appreciate him for his perspective that the Browns are going to win, but the Ravens are going to win this. I didn't give my score prediction. I'm leaning. I don't think it's going to be a very high scoring game. Not with Myles Garrett. I'm going to, and not with our offensive line. I'm going to go with 24. No, okay, hold on.
Don't forget that there's no Pat Ricard.
You're right about it. You're right.
That should add at least 10 points. You saw we scored 40 last week.
Stop. I'll say 28. Ravens 28. 21. Ravens 28. Browns 21. That's my score prediction. Book it. Come by on our live stream. Come by on our live stream so that you can see, like, wow, Yolanda, you were right. You nailed that score. That's it. And you nailed it with Odafe Oweh getting 1 sack. Hendo, what were you saying?
You gotta let people be delusional every now and again. Like, you gotta let them have that so that they can release those endorphins in their brain and just feel good and happy about themselves. You don't want to kill their joy each and every time. So, I'm gonna let her have this one. the season will pan out the way that it does. This is Odafe last year in Baltimore, and let's see where she goes from here in the 2026 season.
He's going to still be with us, and that's just how it is. We
So
like
what
to
contract?
pay.
We can barely pay the people we have now.
I know, but that's
I'm sorry. We can barely
we can
pay
barely overpay.
we can barely pay for the good people we have right now.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not one of them. So,
Big Reg, Ravens are not losing. Why are you saying this? What evidence do you have to support that the Ravens are going to lose to the Browns? Other
last
than,
year,
yes, and make sure.
last year,
Okay, well, this is a new year.
6-4 record over the last 5 years. We have a losing record versus the Browns.
Yeah, earlier I said 6-5, and DDSQ got me correct on that. Thank you. It is 6-4. But yeah, no, listen, Big Reg, I don't think we're going to lose this one. And yes, Tanja, it was a really good show. Just rewind, listen to some of the takes that that Quincy had. Very interesting, and I appreciate him for stopping by. That was really cool of him to come by and hang out with us. But look, one thing he said, and I'll spoiler alert, Tanja, I'm telling you now, but one thing he said is, we always know that Myles Garrett is like, he is that guy. But this year is something said about Myles Garrett having an upgrade on the D linemen who are alongside of him. So that's kind of the gist. And with that in mind, as you think about it, fans, Ravens flock, how do we overcome that? We know, now that company's gone, we can actually have a conversation. But how do we?
I'm sorry, Tanja. They looked it up and they said over the last 5 years, we are 4-6 versus the Browns. That's what they said. Are they lying?
I thought when I looked it up, I saw 6. I Googled it. I was, Google, you can't trust Google like that. Okay. But so I Googled it and I had 6-5, but DDSQ told me it was 6-4 or 5-4, something like that. I can't remember, but I was off. 6-4. Okay. Then it was 6-4.
It happened to be an even number of games.
Okay. There you go. So, but what I was saying here is, look, if they have an upgrade on their D line and our offensive line has stayed C, middle of the pack, then that's a problem. It's going to be a long afternoon. But look, as long as we have 8, we have a chance. And so I think Hendo called it correctly. The way to win this game for us, going up against Myles Garrett and company, short, quick passes. We don't have time to let routes develop. We don't have time for that. We don't have time to take the deep shot because we already know our O-line probably can't hold up.
Damn, amazing.
So that's the secret. And get some pressure on Joe Flacco. Who's going to do that, though? Other than my guy, Oweh. Who's really going to get some pressure?
First of all, I guess you don't remember the live stream from Sunday night when even you were sitting there yelling, "What are you doing, Oweh? You're useless. Like, you provided nothing."
Wait, okay, I didn't say useless. Now, wait. Now, let's not go too far. But one thing, just like Quincy said, and he made a very good point, you can't compare Joe Flacco, Josh Allen. It is really hard to bring Josh Allen. It's hard to get after Josh Allen. So the level of, what it's going to take, hey, I think Odafe, I think he has it this time. He has it. So,
Word.
yeah, we good.
Word.
Anyway, family, well, we are going to get out of here.
We're going to talk about...
Oh, yes, we do have one other thing to talk about before we get out. Thank you, Hendo, for reminding me. Saw this earlier today, and I hope I can bring it up. Let's see if it works. Saw this earlier, and I just want to get your thoughts on it. This was a tweet that we saw, and it said that John Harbaugh, according to Marlon Humphrey, John Harbaugh said that after the Bills, the loss to the Bills, that our team is just not mature enough. Mercy. The Ravens team, they're just not mature enough. So I just wanted to kind of get your thoughts, Hendo. What do you think about that?
I think it's a crack of crap. Once again, John Harbaugh never takes accountability for his side of things. Now his team isn't mature enough. His team was definitely mature enough when they go on win streaks. His team's mature enough when they blow teams out. This team's mature enough when they come back and win games they're not supposed to win. But now all of a sudden they're not mature enough to get stuff done because you and your clock management were wrong. Yes, the defense did not play as great as they should have played, but your clock management, you not being able to go up to your defensive coordinator and saying, look, bro, this cover 6 ain't working. This prevent defense just ain't getting it done. You going into cover 0 during this time is not what we're going to do right now. You as the head coach didn't do what you were supposed to do. And of course, you want to scapegoat yourself and put everybody under the microscope so you look like a competent head coach. And this is why all these years I've always said Harbaugh is not that dude that y'all think that he is. Everybody's always arguing, oh, he's this and he's just and he's one. No, he's not. He's a pretender. He uses his players for the good and throws them under the bus when things get bad. Just like times when we go for it on 4th downs, you always see him on camera. You want to go for it on 4th down? You want to go for it? He's making sure, no, he's performing. He's making sure that people see him do this. So when it fails, he absolves himself of any of the blame. And then when it happens and they are successful at it, is look at that players coach. He's going to his players, making sure that they have input in the game. No, he's doing it for show to shield himself. He's never taken accountability for the failures of this team. A lot of the Ravens articles that are pro Ravens are now talking about when is John Harbaugh going to get it. This isn't the same coach that we inherited back in 2008. Back then when he wanted to prove himself, he was innovative, he was aggressive, he wanted to do certain things. But now that he's comfortable, now it's, let's see where things go and if we can eke out a win. But it's never his fault. You never hear him get in front of a press conference like a Dan Campbell and say, I just didn't do my best and my team followed suit. It's always they didn't. How can you get up here and say that Roquan, rewind that. How can you go back and say Lamar, Derrick Henry, Humphrey, Kyle Hamilton, they're not mature enough? No, you're not mature enough to be the leader of this team. You just want the glory that comes with winning. Not the glory that comes with winning the Super Bowl, the glory that comes with winning in the regular season. So for me, once again, it just proves to me this ain't the guy for us. I don't like getting political and talking about certain things, but there's a certain man who's the leader of the free world, and he made some disparaging remarks about Baltimore, talking about we raise killers. These kids are born to do wrong and all of these other things. Then you got this head coach that's supporting him. He's saying disparaging things about the people of your city, the city that you represent. And you sitting here talking about, yeah, I'm rooting for him all the way. That already told me what kind of man he was for him not to stand up for us and to side with somebody else. And the same thing comes around when it goes to his players. He showed us his personality. He showed us what he's all about. So for all the people that love to come in here and it's like, no, what would we do without Harbaugh? We would thrive and maybe win championships and be better off as a team. So that's what we would do. I just need somebody in here that is quote unquote an adult and takes responsibility for everything that they do wrong. It takes nothing for you to say, I coached a bad game today. Like, I led us astray, but he can't do that. Oh, Kyle, what are you doing? You went to Notre Dame. You should be smarter than that. Oh, Lamar, that was supposed to be a run play, but I guess Lamar didn't know that, and he pitched it to Zay Flowers. Stop. You messed up. You didn't have your team prepared as you usually do not do in big games. And take responsibility, but he ain't going to do that. So whomever it is out there that wants to defend John Harbaugh, you keep on defending that dude until he's out of here.
Yeah, because right now, Hendo, you are just another person who's at the end of the bar.
Facts.
As per your background, so.
I'm at the end of the bar.
The end of the bar. What did I say? Back of the bar, end of the bar? Yeah, that.
Sipping on yak.
Yeah, listen, when I saw that tweet, I became really irritated. And I try not to get on like the side of like angry. I try to kind of reel it in. But I became extremely irritated by that. Because you as a leader, we look to you to be able to have the wherewithal, the bandwidth to understand that, listen, it starts with me. And if you don't believe in taking accountability, then you don't really believe in your team. I said it in a previous stream. And I say it again, I don't believe that John Harbaugh really trusts Lamar Jackson like he says he does. And I don't believe John Harbaugh really has, when I saw that, I said, he doesn't have this team's best interest right now. I don't feel that way. And that's sad. I wish I could say something otherwise, but when a leader And he said earlier this week, Kyle Hamilton, I question whether he graduated from from Notre Dame. Wait,
That
those
was
are
that was a stupid play.
that was stupid what he did. And I question whether he graduated from Notre Dame. You don't say those types of things about your players in public. My
Right.
mama taught me you don't air out dirty laundry. Of course,
Facts.
you keep whatever you have going on in-house, you deal with it in-house. You don't go out into the streets, into the media, into the public, airing out all of your grievances, and you keep that backstage, so to speak. And the fact that he did that, to me, that's saying you're going to lose the locker room if you have not already. So
You
anyway,
wonder why Patrick Queen, after certain games, would say certain things. Like, he wouldn't directly call out the head coach, but he would say, "We keep doing the same dumb stuff over and over again, and I'm getting sick of it." Like, he called it out, and people just took that as to mean game situations or teammates. No, he was talking about the head coach. There's a reason. There is a reason. Ed Reed don't really mess with John Harbaugh like that. One of your organization's greatest players doesn't really rock too tough with your head coach. To tell you the truth, it seems to me that Ray Lewis don't really rock with him like that. Now, I know Terrell Suggs defended him, but I think, to me, that's just the Raven in him. Like, he's just backing him because he's just a Raven. Back in the day, when they had that mutiny, Suggs seemed to have a little different tone to his conversation about him. So, enough is enough. There comes a time we can find. We've had this conversation before. We can find anybody. Bears. We can find anybody to come in here and win us 10 games, 12 games, and get us to the playoffs and lose. It's not hard to find that guy, to be quite honest with you. So
yeah.
to have him come in here and what he's doing is he's separating the team, because this kind of talk, you talk about people on defense, you talk about players aren't mature. Now, Marlon Humphrey had to come out and say this. So if
Yeah.
Marlo's talking about it, it's really bothering him. Now, once you split this team, now you're lessening the likelihood that we can go out and win a championship, because a team divided has distractions, and those distractions can keep you from your goal. It's hard enough to win with just talent. We've seen in baseball, we've seen in football, we've seen in basketball, where they have collected the best talents that those leagues have had to provide, and none of them have ever won a championship, because it's not always about talent. It's about cohesiveness. It's about togetherness. It's about appreciate you. It's about the leadership that you have that's going to take you forward. And we've seen with this head coach in the past, we don't have that leadership to get it done. Now, when the players took control and said, "John, we're not doing what you say do because it's stupid," we went out and won a Super Bowl. But every other season that we let John Harbaugh take control of this organization, what happened? We lost to inferior teams. It's not like we went into the playoffs and just, something happened and we got beat. Each and every year, 2019, we lost to the Titans. They definitely weren't on our level. 2020, the Bills, they weren't on our level at that time. Josh Allen was not the Josh Allen we're seeing right now. 2023, 2024. Come on now. The Chiefs, they weren't that good. Like, they are the Chiefs, but they weren't the Chiefs. And they were the lesser team. And each and every season with John Harbaugh as the head coach, we find ways to lose the teams that we should not lose to. But everybody wants to praise him because we won 12 games during the regular season.
Listen, at this point, I don't want my hopes of a Super Bowl championship to be dashed because there's division in our camp. I don't want I don't want to think about it. I don't want to focus on it. I just want to hope and believe that our team can some way rally together enough to overcome this. We've done it in the past with players who had to come together and stand up and say, enough's enough. Enough is enough. So that's what I'm hoping. And thank you, Dan Tana, for becoming a channel member. Thank you so much. If you are here and you're enjoying the content, do us a favor, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. If you want to join my channel, Hendo's channel, both of the channels would be great. There is a button down below, join. Click on the join button and it will tell you all of the tiers that are available to you. I do want to give a quick shout out to Brandon Bazell, B Squared. He was the first one in my chat, but because of the delay when you start streaming, I couldn't put his comment up, but I do want to recognize him for always being supportive and, just being there. But like I was saying, my biggest concern is we have the talent. And I don't want the talent to be wasted. And I
Right.
feel that we're doing just that. And if we focus on the minutia, if we get into the weeds too much and focus on, well, John Harbaugh doesn't like this and such about that, and he said Kyle Hamilton is, doesn't do this, and if we get bogged down in that, we lose sight of, oh, by the way, in about 2 days we have an opponent to face. We need to prepare for that. We need to focus on that. So that's kind of where I stand with it. It's sad. Sure. I don't like to see it. I don't like to hear it. But one thing that kind of brought me a little bit of solace this week, honestly, especially after that loss against Buffalo, mainstream media, the news, former players, current players, people who dislike the Baltimore Ravens alike, all said one thing: we've got an issue at head coach. So it just let me know that, hey, we weren't way off in our thoughts about kind of where this team needs to go.
Facts.
So that's it. Well, the sad thing is, man, he's not going anywhere. Like, if we lose this game, Harbs has to be out. I would love that, but I doubt it. I doubt it. Someone said in a previous stream, I don't remember who, they said, and I don't even want to speak it because I don't want this to happen, it's going to take us at least to lose 4 or 5 games in a row, like 0-4, 0-5, before something drastic happens. And I'm like, no, don't say that. I don't want our team to go 0 in anything, but yeah. Anyway. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
All right. Well, family, thank you all so much for joining us tonight. We appreciate it. Look, we've got a tall order ahead of us on Sunday. Make sure you come by. Hendo and I will be live streaming the game, and then later that afternoon or the first part of the evening, Hendo and I will do a live call-in show. So yes, that's where you can come on, chat with us, share your thoughts about what you saw on this game, during the game. And hopefully it's a win, right? Let's cheer our team on. Hopefully we get the dub. We're first game, home opener at the bank. We're ready to go. We got to be fired up. Got to be, really excited to cheer our team on. But
30th year.
Make sure you come out and hang out with us on Sunday.
Yes. Now listen, I'll tell you like this. I had a plan this weekend. I'm not sure if I'm going to go through with this plan. I don't know just yet. I had a plan to go to the woods. What? I had a plan to go to the woods and just relax and just chill out and just be by myself and just be one and kind of reinvigorate myself. But if I do not do that,
we'll be back streaming. I think that's what he was going to say.
Go ahead. We may possibly do a call and show tomorrow night. I'm not for certain. I just don't know what I'm going to do or how I'm going to feel when I wake up. But, I might go ahead and do some other people's stuff tomorrow and just be free. Just be in the woods and be free.
Let us know quick by giving us a thumbs up emoji. Let us know really quickly if you would like us to come on tomorrow sometime in the first part of the evening, early evening, and do a quick call-in show, last minute temperature check. We're checking in with the fans. We're checking in with the flock. How we feeling? Like I think Tanja said earlier, the Browns have been real spicy this week with their talk. They've had a lot to say.
You gotta hype yourself up. Like if you ain't your own hype man, who gonna be?
But just like Quincy said, the response from the Ravens has been very dialed down.
Who pays their little brother any mind? Who? Nobody. It's kind of like
you keep calling them little brother, and you can't say that when they have the edge up on over us right now.
I could not care less. I could not care less. Listen, you are my little brother. I understand. You won 7 world titles in a 10-year span. Your greatest players are Jim Brown and Otto Graham. I give you that. You have a storied franchise. Trust me. I remember Brian Brennan. I remember all of these dudes. I'm not worried about Ray Kingdom right now. Stop it. I understand that you have a rich history, and we took part of that history and made it our own. And I understand that it has to be frustrating that you in the Super Bowl era has never won a title. And within 5 years, we took your team and built a Super Bowl champion. I get that. But during that time, you've had 86, 87 quarterbacks that you played. Joe Flacco is going to be the 8th quarterback that plays against us just in the time that Lamar's been here. So I understand you want to be a relevant franchise. You want to be relevant in the AFC North. which is kind of hard being that since the AFC North came into existence, the Cleveland Browns are the only franchise that hasn't won an AFC North title. The only one. So yeah, little bro, calm down. Little bro, get yourself together. Little bro, follow behind me and let me show you how it's done.
We can't show too much. We got to figure out. Yeah, both teams are coming off a loss this weekend, last weekend. So we got to get it right.
Hold up. The fumble, the drive, all that. Listen, I used to be a Denver fan back then. So John Elway was my guy. So I know all about Webster Slaughter and all them dudes and watching them lose with Bernie Kosar. I loved it.
One day, Dan Tanner's got to call in and tell us all about his Chicago Bears. Yes, he got to tell us about his Bears. They're doing
is that the one? Hold up. Is that the one that invited us on his show?
It is. This is the one I told you about.
Wait. Is that the one that said your little friend?
Say
hello to my little friend. Is that him? Is that him? Is this 1985? Never had a 4,000-yard passer. Is this who we talking about?
Leave Dan Tanner alone.
Because what I saw from the clip was, I got something for your little friend. What you got for me, bro? You got a 4,000-yard passer. You got a Super Bowl title that begins with a 2. I don't think that you do.
I try to end these streams before they go left. I try to end these shows before they just go left.
I'm sorry, Kia. Oh, wait a minute. You created us. No, we are in. Listen, we all, the Browns and the Ravens, we share the same mitochondrial DNA. We share the same DNA. But when they created us, they put a little bit more into it because we were champions. You guys, I mean, I feel bad for y'all. I really feel bad for y'all for the suffering that you've had. For some reason, you cannot find a quarterback. Deshaun Watson was supposed to be that dude. Deshaun Watson in Houston was that guy. I thought, oh, the Browns finally found him. But for some reason, you guys are just so cursed that you just take the best. Even Baker Mayfield now. Baker Mayfield's balling, and y'all gave up on him. Like, I don't get it, but
you did. Yeah.
I don't know. Right. I wish y'all the best. I wish y'all the best in 30-30, but hey.
Hendo, anyway, look, it's all good. Thank you, Kia, for being here. Even though
appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. We appreciate.
Listen, little bro. It's okay. It happens to a lot of. We used to be the little bro to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Like, it happens. Then we had to flip the script and let them know, like, bro, we was born first. Technically, theoretically, in concept. But not really.
Not really. I was just going to say, not really.
But we still the big bros, though.
Yeah. Imani, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see that dazed, confused,
first off, every game,
crazy look. I don't want to see it. That's the one. I don't want to see it. Yeah.
I can't believe they let me coach.
I want you to have a ball, have a blast at the game, be safe, cheer loud for us, all of us. Cheer extremely loud and will our team to victory. So enjoy it. Have a great time. But
watch out for the traveling puppy pound. I mean, dog puppy, pound puppies. Whatever they call themselves now. Whatever they are now, watch out for them.
Yikes. Wow. Anyway. All right. So family, make sure your post notifications are turned on, because if Hendo does not have an Aaron Rodgers experience tomorrow and going out to the wilderness, we will be here.
No drugs, though. No drugs. No.
I was just meaning it by terms of like going out into the wilderness.
I know, but I'm just saying, I don't do no drugs.
No.
But is ayahuasca a drug? I mean, it's a psychotrope, so
yeah, it's a psychotrope, so it is one. So, but anyway,
so he should be suspended then, right?
That's not my business. I don't know, but
I'm sorry, kid. We joke around here. We play like we don't really mean it. I mean,
yeah,
I respect the dog pound.
Yeah, honestly, and I hope you were here, Kia, for the whole show. If not, it's worth a rewatch, because you guys have a good one. Quincy was here with us, and go ahead.
Oh my gosh, it just hit me when Kia, like when I see the Cleveland Browns come on, like when they running out the tunnel and they show the dog pound. The theme song pops in my head. What's that song? The backyard against. I don't know the song, but that's what the song. That's the song. I think it's the backyard against. That's the song I hear when I see Cleveland Browns run out on the field.
As I was saying, make sure your post notifications are turned on. We might be here tomorrow. doing a call-in show. Hey, I got to get my reps in, right? I got to get, better at it, make sure everybody can come on and hang out with us and speak your truth. But if not, we will see you all on Sunday when we take on the Browns and win here at the bank. Family, it's been
Yeah.
fun. Hendo, any parting words for our family before we go? Nice
Listen.
parting words.
Listen, we better win this game. We cannot go 0-2 and be last in the division, because no matter what the Bengals, no matter what the Steelers do, if we lose this game and they both lose the game, we still in last place by ourselves. We can't let that defense wreck shop on us and can dictate and control this game. We need to run Derrick Henry. We need to keep Lamar protected more than anything else. We need to keep Lamar protected, and all right, good night, kid. Appreciate you. We need to make sure that we're not out-coached again, as we normally are. But other than that, it's going to be a great game. I can't wait to see how this offensive line matches up against their defensive line. Like, that's something that I want to see, because it's going to be foreshadowing as to what we may possibly see in the future. Now, they can get better throughout the season, but it can be a playoff preview as to if we need to make some kind of trades, we need to make some moves. That's all. We better win. That's all I know.
Ooh. All right, family. Take care. We will see you back very soon. All right. Have a good night.